Have you ever felt like once you hit 50, life's big adventures are pretty much done? Like you've climbed the mountain and now it's all downhill from here.
Well, that's a feeling a lot of people have. It's like society tells you that after a certain point, your main role is to just kind of fade into the background.
Yeah, fade away.
Yeah.
But what if I told you there's a completely different way of looking at this time of life? What if, instead of winding down, you're actually gearing up for something even more amazing?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're exploring Buddhist philosophy and how it reframes those 50 plus years, not as a time of decline, but as a period of immense potential, growth, and frankly, deep joy.
We've been digging into some fascinating material, and it turns out there's so much more to this stage of life than just retirement and reminiscing. It's about tapping into wisdom, purpose, and a kind of freedom you might not have even realized was possible.
It really challenges the conventional narrative, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This idea that our worth is tied to external achievements, and that after a certain age, those achievements are behind us.
Right. But what if true success isn't about what you accumulate, but about the richness of your inner life and the positive impact you have on the world?
That's the shift in perspective that Buddhist philosophy encourages, and it's one that can be truly liberating, especially as you navigate the transitions that often come with this stage of life.
I love that. And one of the most beautiful concepts we came across was this idea of life as a river.
Oh yes, the river analogy. It's such a powerful way to visualize the flow of life. Each ripple represents an experience you've had shaping you, guiding you.
And beneath the surface, like you said, there's this constant flow of possibility, these seeds of potential, just waiting for the right conditions to sprout.
Exactly. So those feelings you might have, maybe your kids have grown up and moved out, your career's changing, and you're wondering, what now? Those are actually invitations for you to tap into those seeds, to explore new directions, new passions.
It's like that river never stops flowing. It might meander, it might change course, but it's always moving forward. And those seeds are always there within you, waiting to be nurtured.
And speaking of nurturing, I think it's helpful to address something that often comes up at this stage. This idea of empty nest syndrome. You pour so much of yourself into raising your children, and then suddenly they're off on their own adventures.
Yeah, it can feel like a huge loss, like a part of your identity is missing.
And that feeling is completely valid. But Buddhist philosophy offers a different perspective, one that can be really helpful in navigating that transition.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, it starts with understanding the concept of anicca, which means impermanence. It's the recognition that everything is in a constant state of flux. Nothing stays the same forever. And that includes your role as a parent.
So it's not about clinging to a role that's naturally evolved. It's about recognizing that change is a fundamental part of life.
Exactly. And the Source encourages you to view this emptiness not as a void, but as space. Space for you to rediscover yourself, to explore those interests you might have put on hold, to connect with the world in new ways.
Like Jane in the material we read, right? She found so much purpose and joy volunteering at a community garden after her kids moved out.
Yes, her story beautifully illustrates that. It wasn't the end of her caregiving journey, it was an evolution. She found a new way to nurture and contribute, one that brought her immense fulfillment.
I love that. And it reminds me of another important concept. The Source highlights the wisdom of letting go.
Ah, yes, letting go. It's such a crucial practice, not just in this stage of life, but at any age. As we journey through life, we tend to accumulate emotional baggage, don't we? Past hurts, regrets, grudges.
Oh, absolutely. It can feel like you're dragging around a heavy suitcase full of what ifs and should haves.
And that weight can really hold you back from experiencing the fullness of the present moment.
So how do you let go? Is it about just forgetting the past?
It's not about forgetting, but about releasing the grip it has on you. It's about acknowledging those past experiences, those hurts, but choosing not to let them define you or dictate your present reality.
That makes sense. And I imagine forgiveness plays a big role here.
Absolutely. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others, it's incredibly freeing. Holding on to resentment, as the Source points out, is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts you in the end.
And there are so many ways to practice letting go, right? From journaling to therapy to meditation.
Yes. And the Source specifically mentions mindfulness meditation as a powerful tool. It's about observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing them to simply rise and fall like waves in the ocean.
And Robert's story really highlights the power of that, doesn't it? He carried around so much guilt for years, and through loving kindness meditation, he was finally able to find peace and forgiveness.
It's a beautiful example of how directing compassion towards yourself can be incredibly healing. We often hold ourselves to such high standards, and that inner critic can be relentless.
It's true, we can be so much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend.
And metta practice encourages you to turn that same kindness and understanding inward towards yourself. It's about recognizing your own inherent worthiness of love and compassion.
Which leads us to the final key concept in this first part of our deep dive: redefining success. As you get older, those external markers of success, the big house, the fancy car, they don't seem to hold the same weight anymore.
It's like you've reached a point where you realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from material possessions or external validation.
So what does success look like through the lens of Buddhist philosophy?
It's about aligning your actions with your values, about living a life of purpose and meaning. The concept of dana, or generosity, is central to this. It's about giving freely, without expecting anything in return.
Whether it's volunteering your time, mentoring someone, or simply offering a listening ear to a friend in need, those acts of kindness ripple outward, creating positive change in the world.
And the Source highlights something truly remarkable. Those acts of generosity don't just benefit others, they have a positive impact on your own well-being too. There's research showing that helping others can actually boost your mood, reduce stress, and even increase your lifespan.
It's like a win-win. And Helen's story is a perfect example of this, isn't it? She retired from teaching, but found a whole new passion tutoring underprivileged children online.
It's a beautiful testament to the fact that age is no barrier to making a meaningful contribution to the world. It's about finding those avenues that align with your values and allow you to use your skills and experience to make a positive difference.
It's not about slowing down, it's about shifting gears. And that leads us perfectly into the second part of our deep dive for today: embracing the present moment, the gateway to meaning.
Ah, yes, the present moment. It's such a simple concept, yet so elusive for many of us.
It's true. How many times do you find yourself dwelling on the past or worrying about the future?
Our minds are incredibly adept at pulling us away from the present moment, aren't they? And yet, as the Source reminds us, the present moment is all we truly have.
Yeah.
It's the only place where life actually unfolds.
And Buddhist philosophy emphasizes that it's within this present moment that we can find true meaning and joy.
Exactly. And that's where the practice of mindfulness, or satika, comes in. It's about cultivating a non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting swept away by them.
It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot, isn't it? Allowing yourself to truly experience the richness of each moment.
Yes, and the Source points out that even the most mundane tasks, washing the dishes, walking the dog, can become almost meditative when approached with mindfulness. It's about bringing that same quality of attention and presence to everything you do.
I love that. It's like turning everyday life into a series of mini retreats.
And of course, formal meditation practice can be incredibly helpful in strengthening your mindfulness muscle. The Source highlights some incredible benefits, particularly as we age: reduced anxiety, improved memory, enhanced focus, and even stronger neural connections.
So it's not just about feeling calmer, it's about keeping your mind sharp and resilient.
Exactly. And the great thing about mindfulness is that it's not limited to sitting on a cushion. You can integrate it into any activity, as the Source reminds us. Even something as simple as cooking dinner can become an opportunity to practice mindfulness.
By paying attention to the sounds, the smells, the textures of the ingredients.
Yes. You transform a routine task into a sensory experience, a moment of gratitude and presence. As Thich Nhat Hanh so beautifully put it, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Beautiful. And from embracing the present moment, we move to another powerful concept: compassion, or karuna. The Source describes it as recognizing and responding to suffering, both in yourself and others, with kindness.
Compassion is like a muscle that we can strengthen through practice. And after 50, having navigated our own share of challenges, we're often in a unique position to offer that kind of empathy and understanding to others.
It's like those experiences, even the difficult ones, have softened our hearts, making us more receptive to the suffering of others.
And the Source highlights that compassion isn't just about feeling empathy. It's about taking action. It's about reaching out to help, to offer support, to simply be there for someone in need.
And there are so many ways to practice compassion, right? From volunteering to mentoring to simply being a good listener.
And the Source specifically mentions loving kindness meditation, or metta bhavana, as a powerful tool for cultivating compassion. It involves intentionally sending feelings of goodwill and kindness to yourself and others.
Like we talked about earlier with Robert, right? That practice of self-compassion can be so transformative.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we all deserve kindness, including ourselves. And the research shows that metta practice has incredible benefits, from boosting positive emotions to strengthening social connections to reducing stress.
And Maria's story really exemplifies the ripple effect of compassion, doesn't it? By volunteering at a hospice, she not only brought comfort to those in their final days, but she also found healing from her own grief.
Her story beautifully illustrates that in giving compassion, we often receive it in unexpected ways. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected and that acts of kindness create a web of healing that benefits both the giver and the receiver.
And now, get ready for a radical idea. The Source encourages us to reframe aging itself, not as a period of decline, but as a liberation.
It's a powerful shift in perspective, isn't it? We're so conditioned to fear aging, to view it as a loss of vitality and opportunity. But what if it's actually an opportunity to step into a new chapter of freedom and authenticity?
It makes you think, doesn't it? We spend so much of our younger years striving, achieving, trying to fit into certain molds. But as we get older, there's a chance to let go of those expectations and embrace who we truly are.
And that includes embracing the wisdom and experience we've accumulated along the way. The Source encourages us to reframe those negative stereotypes about aging, to see retirement not as the end, but as a beginning of creative exploration, of pursuing passions without the constraints of work, of giving back in ways that align with our values.
And I love the introduction of wabi-sabi, the Japanese concept of finding beauty in imperfection. It's such a beautiful way to look at the aging process, to appreciate the stories etched in our wrinkles and scars.
Wabi-sabi invites us to shift our focus from the pursuit of perfection to the appreciation of authenticity. It's about recognizing the beauty in the natural cycle of life, in the impermanence of all things.
It's about finding beauty in the present moment, just as it is. And the Source offers some practical ways to cultivate this perspective. Keeping a gratitude journal, creating peaceful spaces in our homes, spending time in nature.
These simple practices can have a profound impact on our well-being. They help us shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, from striving to appreciating.
And finally, we circle back to the concept of legacy. It's natural to think about what we'll leave behind as we get older, but the Source reframes it beyond material possessions or accomplishments.
It's about the impact we have on others, the seeds of kindness and wisdom we plant that will continue to grow long after we're gone.
Like David's story, right? He wrote letters to my younger self, sharing his life lessons and insights. It's such a powerful example of how even a personal project can have a ripple effect, touching lives we may never even know.
It reminds us that legacy isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small acts of love and kindness we weave into the fabric of our lives.
It's about the energy we bring to our interactions, the values we embody, the way we make others feel. And that brings us to the final part of our deep dive, the symphony of now awakening to your true potential.
It's a beautiful image, isn't it? Like all those experiences, all those threads of our lives coming together to create a harmonious whole.
It's like we're the conductors of our own orchestra, bringing together the different instruments, our skills, talents, passions, to create a symphony that's uniquely our own.
And the Source introduces a profound teaching to illustrate this interconnectedness, Indra's net. It's this image of an infinite web where every point is connected to every other point by shimmering jewels.
It's a beautiful metaphor for how interconnected we all are. And with the wisdom and experience we gain as we age, we often begin to see those connections more clearly.
And with that awareness comes a deeper sense of responsibility. The Source emphasizes that our actions have ripple effects, impacting not just our own lives, but the lives of those around us and the world as a whole.
Which leads us to the idea of moving from separation to interbeing.
Ah, yes, interbeing. It's the understanding that nothing exists in isolation. We're all interconnected, interdependent. And that recognition can be incredibly empowering, especially as we navigate the transitions that often come with this stage of life.
It's like instead of feeling isolated or alone, we realize that we're part of something much larger than ourselves. And the Source highlights that this time of life offers so many opportunities to deepen those connections through volunteering, mentoring, creating community.
As Helen Keller so beautifully said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much.
And the Source suggests a simple but powerful practice to cultivate that sense of interbeing. taking a moment each day to reflect on how your actions have impacted others.
It's a beautiful way to cultivate gratitude and to recognize the ripple effect of our choices, no matter how small they may seem.
And now, for a concept that might seem a bit counterintuitive in our achievement-oriented culture, the art of non-striving, or wu-wei.
It's not about being passive or lazy, but about aligning ourselves with life's natural rhythms, about trusting the process and allowing things to unfold organically.
It's like the analogy of gardening. You can't force a plant to grow faster by pulling on it. You nurture it, provide the right conditions, and trust that it will blossom in its own time.
And Margaret's story beautifully illustrates this principle. She stumbled upon a passion for painting simply by taking a class for enjoyment. There was no pressure to achieve, no grand plan. It was simply about exploring, following her curiosity.
And in that space of non-striving, she discovered a hidden talent that brought her immense joy and fulfillment.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most fulfilling paths emerge when we release the grip of control and allow ourselves to be guided by intuition and a sense of playfulness.
The Source encourages us to experiment, to try new things without any expectations, to quiet that inner critic that's always telling us we need to be doing more, achieving more.
And mindfulness meditation can be incredibly helpful in this process. It allows us to observe those thoughts without judgment, to create space for new possibilities to emerge.
And that leads us to a seemingly paradoxical concept, the dance between acceptance and action.
It's about finding that delicate balance between accepting things as they are in this moment and taking proactive steps to create positive change in our lives.
It's like acknowledging the reality of our situation without being resigned to it.
Exactly. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing what is so that we can respond with wisdom and clarity. And that response might involve taking action, setting boundaries, seeking support.
The example of facing health challenges really highlights this balance. We can accept the limitations that come with aging or illness, while also taking steps to improve our well-being through healthy habits, medical care, and emotional support.
Sarah's story is another great illustration of this principle. She faced multiple setbacks, job loss, divorce, health issues, but by combining Buddhist teachings with practical action, she was able to rebuild her life in a way that brought her greater peace and fulfillment.
It's a reminder that we always have a choice in how we respond to life's challenges, and that even in the face of adversity, there's always the potential for growth and transformation.
And as we approach the end of our deep dive, we come full circle back to the concept of legacy. But this time, the focus is on love.
It's about recognizing that the most enduring legacy we leave behind isn't about material possessions or accomplishments, but about the love and kindness we share with the world.
The Source introduces the metaphor of the Bodhisattva path, which is about dedicating oneself to alleviating suffering and cultivating compassion for all beings.
And while that might sound daunting, it really boils down to those everyday acts of kindness, offering a helping hand, a listening ear, a kind word.
It's about those seemingly small gestures that create a ripple effect of positivity. And the Source reminds us that our true legacy lies in the qualities we embody: warmth, sincerity, the light that shines through our eyes.
It's about the way we make others feel, the memories we create, the love we leave behind. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of awe at the incredible potential that this chapter of life holds.
It's not a time to fade away, but a time to shine even brighter, to embrace the wisdom, the freedom, the joy that comes with embracing the present moment and living a life of purpose and meaning.
As you step into this next chapter, what kind of legacy will you create? What seeds of kindness and compassion will you plant? What will be the most resonant notes in your symphony of now? I think that's something worth pondering, don't you?
Absolutely. And I hope this deep dive has given you some inspiration and some practical tools to create a life that is truly fulfilling, joyful, and meaningful.
Here's to embracing this extraordinary chapter with open hearts and a spirit of adventure.